All right, we are back with another live. We are testing out the Ecamm software. And yeah, I just figure it's a nice time to play with these different scenes to set up different, I guess you can call them scenes because from this uh, rectangle with the white border, it will change into the next scene based on whatever you want it to talk about. So I guess the first question and the first thing to talk about, and hopefully the audio is good. If not, we're gonna have to run this back. But I am checking the comments. I did realign my setup on the back end of Ecamm. So it's really nice is that you can see all the different windows which can control your back end. Let me see if I can show you the what it looks like really quick, and then you can get an idea of what I'm talking about here. So this is the live demo mode, which you can see the back end and how everyone sets up their, I guess, their whole setup differently. I got my screen on this bottom left here. I got my easy to change scenes right here on the right hand side where I don't have to cross over and look over the screen. I got sound levels up here on the top, um, overlays, things I don't really need. Things I need is really the scenes. So right here, and I don't got a stream deck yet, so or it's not set up or anything. So I'm just gonna have to go through the scenes like this. So yeah, I just want to show you what the back end looks like. I got my sound panel up for just in case anything we have issues. I got some notes here and a screen that I can pull into. So yeah, this is the live demo mode. And we should be out of live demo mode, back into the regular, I guess you can say. All right, so the cool thing with this is I did kind of go through it and set up some scenes ahead of time. So right now, the first scene, or actually second, because the first one had the timer and the music and the countdown. And I set a timer to automate to go to this scene from that scene when that is done. So the cool thing with the timer is you can hide it. You can make it transparent. But if you have it there, yeah, if you have it there and hide it through the icon, it won't work. It's like turning it off. So you have to have it on and just turn the transparency down so you can't see it. But I don't know. I don't mind the timer there. I don't know. I think it's all right. It's like how long the track is. I don't know what your feelings on it, but for now I'm leaving it up. And that's if I use the scene with music. If I don't like this, I don't have a timer up, so it's not going to change to the next scene. It would be helpful if you're going to change to the next scene if you were doing it where you wanted to automate different angles or zoom in. But because I'm not really doing that, I'm just using this one scene for now until I move to the next scene. I'm just doing it manually. So, all right. So speaking of going to the next scene, since we're on that, let's go to the next scene. Okay, so this is the next scene. This is the I got a host and screen share. And what's really neat is when you set this up, you have to be mindful of where you put the things on the screen because if I look this way, it looks like I'm looking at the thing, right? So if I had positioned myself on the left hand side when I look at the box, I might be looking the wrong way, right? So yeah, it's I would say it's kind of confusing, but it's like the reverse image of the camera. So it's not mirroring you. So anyway. But yeah, so this is a screen share scene. Right now I'm not sharing a website widget. I'm doing a screen share. So there's a difference there. I think sometimes YouTube won't allow you to exactly do a website widget based on the content that you're trying to show. And then obviously, if it has copyrighted music, you don't want to show that, and you want to make sure that that scene is muted, or at least that screen share is whatever not. So, um, but yeah, this is a screen share scene of a window that I have open on my desktop, and I'm able to choose, what screen I want to share. So this is a screen of an upcoming vlog that I have set up, and it premieres in 7 days on the 27th at midnight. Um, why midnight? Well, I don't know if you guys used to remember when music used to drop, it was always like the midnight drop. I mean, I can definitely alter the time, because right now the earliest that I could do it was the midnight of the 27th, which is a Wednesday. And I did want to choose the 27th because it does have some significant sentimental value, and that's why I chose it. But I can definitely move it to 5 p.m. or 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. But having it at midnight is almost like if someone was really interested, they could be, in a week that's only like a couple hours from now. So I know there's some people not in the same state as me, so it's obviously a lot later. So they might be watching it a lot later. And to be honest, I don't know when people will be watching it, if even watches it, but I think just to make it accessible as early as possible was my idea. And why the 27th? Well, there's some Easter eggs inside of this vlog one, and I mean, I'm really interested to see who's going to catch it, if anyone catches it. The date will pop up at some point in time. Um, yeah, I mean, making this vlog one, it was, it had been, it had been coming. I've been wanting to do it, and I just had to figure out the reason why. Um, and I think everybody has a different reason why, and sometimes people get confused with someone else's reason when you have to have your own reason. And I feel like, yeah, and I know I'm just starting, but I don't want to go based on someone else's reason and feel like burnt out eventually, right? And who knows, that might happen with this, but the way that initially, my initial concept is to make it with, to do it with as least amount of, let's say resistance, but at least amount of friction, because that's what usually takes honestly people out of the game. But that's usually one of the hardest things for people is the friction, all the things they got to do. So if you don't have to do it and you want to do it, then it becomes easier, right? So if you want it to be better, then it can be better. If you put in the time and work, it can be better. If you wish and hope, it might not get better, right? So like instead of talking about it, you got to throw some action in there, right? And that's what's funny now that I'm talking about it. I can say that how I got here was through action. I didn't talk about it first and then it got here, it was the action steps. And there were, I don't want to say a lot of action steps, but there were a few action steps, but there were necessary steps to get to here, right? And I did the Pat Flynn 7-day challenge, going live with Ecamm, testing out these different features and buttons and just starting to be more comfortable talking on live and talking on camera and all that stuff. And I do have the comments up and I am checking them. So if anyone drops in now or even later after this live is done and you drop a comment, I'll still be able to see it and we can still engage. So even if you're not able to see this right now, and I know everyone has their own schedule, that's why, again, like I said in one of the last lives, without having a proper, consistent schedule to allow people to tap into the live, then, I'm not saying there's no hope, but like I'm not expecting anybody to show up right now. If someone does, then that's awesome. But if not, I'm sure maybe some people catch it later. I understand everybody's busy, everybody got things to do. Um, and that's part of the shift, right? It's everybody got something to do. We're everyone's occupied, but really, what are we doing, right? And so, I guess that leads me to the point of, so we did why live. Well, why live is because live is authentic in the flesh, right? I mean, you see all these new live selling platforms and things like that, whatnot. eBay's doing it. There's all these live selling platforms, which are cool in its own way, because I do like the specialty items, but sometimes I feel like they're just forcing a bunch of product out there, which is part of that overconsumption, consumerism thing. And, I guess we won't get started in that. That'll be a whole nother topic, a whole nother live one day. But yeah, I think it's really good to go live because it's someone told me, right, like with AI coming, AI can't do it live. And, to be honest, with everything becoming so much more AI-ish and being so much more perfected to this, what you want to see in the algorithm, that's what the algorithm is. It's perpetuating what it's seeing, not exactly what people want to see. And that's kind of going back to like, why are people on social media now? If you're sick of something, then do something about it, right? And recently I've been really blessed to have great social media exchanges with new people and people that I've known for a long time. And I think that is the beauty of social media. I think sometimes people, and I could say that even myself, at one point being anti social media, it's just understanding what it's there for. And I think if you don't get too caught up in it, you can take it for what it's worth and enjoy the parts of it that are good. Sure, we're bombarded and we see things that the algorithm pushes to us. And a perfect example is like Instagram. Even if you have X amount of followers, it only pushes it out to a certain amount. And that means you only see a certain amount. So that's why, like, if you have over a certain amount of followers, and to be honest, just from my own testing, I would say if you have over maybe 200 followers, you're not seeing it all. You're not seeing everything that you're from your followers. I don't know if there's even a way to, because unless you go to every profile and see it, but um, I think whatever gets pushed out and whatever you see is a small fraction of what your wishes are intending to. And I think I heard it on some social media podcast or something. It says you don't see who you follow, you see what your algorithm is. So you could be following XYZ, but you could be seeing E, F, and G. You know what I mean? I don't know if anyone else has experienced that, but I think I have, because I purposely try not to go overboard with the people I follow because I really want to try to engage. And I feel like even the amount of people that I follow right now on Instagram, there's, it's a high level to actually be a good netizen and engage. And I know that's not what normal people think about, but I do think of what I'm doing out here and with my platform, but with whatever I can impact, I want to make sure that I am resonating and bringing a value. And that's what's funny is one of the things that I would probably talk about is that um, regardless of, so the people that I do follow, um, regardless of almost whatever they post, I will probably like it because I have, I want to say an abundance of love, but I do really want everyone to shine and succeed. And if they're putting out a message, I want everyone else to see it because they put it out. And to me, a like doesn't cost much. I'm already seeing it, so I might as well like it. So it's only like it's part of completing the experience, in my opinion. Now, if it's some really like trashy stuff, maybe I won't try to like it. But I mean, at the same time, sometimes I will just because I won't. If someone's putting out that message, if they feel like it's important for them to voice it out and for it to be seen, then I want to let them know it's been seen because they know it's been seen. I mean, you all know how stories work, right? So I think part of my opportunity when I've come back to this whole social media thing is to be a good netizen and, to like, comment, or share if I can. But mainly it's to like so it helps to, broadcast it out. And that's what's cool is the other day I had that opportunity and, um, I'm I don't really expect anything in return. Not really. I don't expect anything in return because it's just showing love, right? Like even if I don't get it, you know, it doesn't matter because I still got love to give. So I don't need it as much. You know what I mean? It's more like not that it's karma, but I feel like it's good to show your support to the people that you appreciate. And that's why Instagram is a very easy thing to do that within. You don't it's not hard to like something. It's not hard. It might be a little harder to comment something, but even that, like, throw up an emoji or something. I don't know. I just really want to be a good netizen, right? Like someone, I keep going back to the word, but it really is, we see and hear so much things on the internet, but how do you change it? Well, you have to impact it. You have to do something about it, right? So if I get together with other people and we all start to like each other's stuff and other people see that because it breaks through the algorithm, right? And that's why, like, if you don't like what you see, then create it because you have to put it out there. Like with all the AI stuff going on right now, there's some AI stuff that I think is really cool, some AI stuff that I don't really like. And so if that's my perspective, what am I doing to change it? Well, that's why I like, so for a lot of, and this is what I get it, AI flyers are easy, but man, do they all look the same? Like, I don't know. Is there any way to ask AI to make it look different? Because man, do they all look the same? Maybe it's just me who's tired of the look. I mean, maybe that's the whole point though. It gets the information across, right? But I'm not really digging it. And I don't know if you are either. And it would be nice to see what some people think in the comments about, AI flyers. I mean, I saw a comment the other day and it was like, can we just go back to Canva people or something like that? I mean, I don't know. Like, I know people don't want to have to put in the work and they just want to let AI do everything. But at some point, there are some really good things. And to be honest, if you don't want to do it, then go and find somebody and hire an artist and work with somebody, right? I mean, that's the thing is that we have so many great artists out there that do so much good work, but who's tapping in, you know? So, that's where like I think it's good to have an idea and then find an artist that resonates with your project and then do something, right? So, all right, well, all right, we're about 20 minutes deep into this live and I want to show you guys this next scene because some people might ask. So So what happened on that last scene, I had a timer. I think it was a 1 minute timer that I threw transparent, and it would go to the next scene, which it automatically went to the next scene. So so yeah, that's what that is. But yeah, real quick, we'll go back to this scene. So getting back to this whole thing, live test with Ecamm. So why live? Live is real. Live is authentic. Live is in the flesh. I mean, you can record and doctor up anything and edit anything, make it look like anything. I mean, this you know, there's some parameters, but you really are just showing up and whatever the topic is that you have. And that's why for this one, I know again, it wasn't really scheduled in advance. I did put out a little notice on my profile, my message on Instagram, and let people know that way just to see if anyone would show up. And I did get a message at least. so so shout out to the homie who messaged me and asked me about the time. I know we got a time difference, and I'm sorry you probably couldn't jump in, but maybe you'll watch this later, right? And again, going forward, maybe I'll be scheduling these out earlier with more notice during a more, I'll say, appropriate time, but maybe an earlier time, right? I don't know. I feel like everybody's so busy that it's gonna be hard to catch anyone, and that's why I'm just gonna go move forward anyway. Can't wait for anyone. Everyone has got their own thing going on, so that's what it is. All right, but okay. So why live? Check. Why YouTube? Well, Instagram won't let me go live. I mean, that's not the only reason why, but it's funny because when I started my Instagram account just about a year ago, hint, hint, that's why this YouTube is dropping as well. But yeah, when I started my Instagram about a year ago, I think there was a live feature because I was able to go live, and I took Makai out to the beach and I just did a live right there. Um, and I think right after that, maybe a day after that, a week after that, they didn't let they didn't let people. I think you need a certain amount of followers to go live, and I only had not the enough anyway, and I still don't got enough. So it is what it is. But you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm trying to go live on that small platform and camera and all that, like phone. But that's why I do really like the Ecamm platform. It has the option to go live. I'm not in dual mode right now. If I was in dual mode, I would have a mobile canvas that could go to the mobile side platform. I mean, it gets sent to Instagram. I mean, it gets sent to YouTube already, but I could probably send it to Instagram if I had enough followers, but I don't. So it is what it is, right? But yeah, this is really cool though because I do get to do the screen share and it's wide enough, and then I can talk about this that's coming up on Wednesday the 27th. It premieres in 7 days, so this is testing episode 1, and it's called Why YouTube. The title. Actually, I think I had maybe 3 titles. I was doing some testing, but maybe I just settled on one and try some other titles later. But yeah, I think the initial title for this first episode is Why YouTube. When you say it, it sounds better than seeing it because there's a Y in YouTube. But just as there's shows like Seinfeld, one of my favorite shows, and what is Seinfeld about? It's a show about a show, pretty much, right? But yeah, so what is this whole vlog series called Testing, and what is episode 1? Well, episode 1 has probably been months in the making. I mean, the concept has been more than maybe a year and two in the making, probably more than, because I've actually started to gather, I don't say information, but gather ideas and clips and things like that to put together. And now it's all come together, right? But it was kind of a work in progress because I knew initially when the choice was to personally come back to social media, like there had to be a reason. And part of the reason is to document these different journeys, to document these different experiences, um, to digitally preserve them in a way that won't fade. So that's why we're lucky with platforms like YouTube, like this. If this is going to be, it's right now it's a live, but it's going to be posted on YouTube from here on out, unless I choose to delete it or make it go private or unlisted, I think it is. So, there's that whole process, right? But I think the idea is to show up, and it doesn't need to be as polished on my side. If it is on your side, then that's probably why you go and watch TV, right? Like, or something like that. Some really like paid show commercial. I actually feel that I've been watching a lot more things on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's because of the authenticity and because there's a lot more people out there that are going through things that are similar, that are, starting up something or that are just in the beginning. But it definitely is not, I won't say it's not reality TV, but it's just real. Because I feel like reality TV is still kind of, I don't say fake, but it's still kind of played to in a way, right? And I know like even like some of the vlogs that I've seen on YouTube, and and that's what I've been really blessed is to see like there are like creators who have, you know, thousands of followers, and there are some that who don't, and the content that they put out is still great and it still has value. And I think that's been some of the inspiration for digitally documenting different moments and these different journeys and stuff. So with digital preservation comes digital real estate. What is digital real estate? Well, it's taking up space in the digital world. Well, how much does it cost? Well, it depends on what you're trying to do. Like for a video, I mean, everybody has a phone, so you can record a video on your phone and post it up, and you're taking up some digital real estate. Now, if you have to pay for that server space, I don't know how many people would be actually making videos. Probably only people who got Lucasfilm's money, because to make anything to take up space, especially on the digital side, I mean, if you think about it, those servers cost money. So, you know, whatever people be doing to make videos and putting them out, yeah, you got to put it out for free. I mean, yeah, there might be some costs associated, gear and time and all that, but really, when you upload it, there's no charge to it. And to host it on YouTube, there's no charge to it yet. And the amount of videos and lives and things that come out, I mean, it's growing fast. And where's all this being stored, right? So that's the thing, is that, you know, everybody has access to digital real estate. How many people are taking advantage of it? I'm sure some of you are, you know, probably some of the more pro people in the comments. Um, but really, you know, people like me who are just starting to get on, and people that are listening to this that haven't started yet, you know, there's a way to at least preserve your memories, your fond memories. Um, that's why I think YouTube is a great option for a lot of people that are wanting to preserve those special moments. I was talking to someone, I was texting through someone today, having a conversation, and the moral of that story was your voice matters. I think a lot of times we feel that our voice doesn't matter, but it's also because of the environment we're in. And kind of going back to like the 5 people that were around the most, you know, we're the average of. If you don't like your situation, that's probably one of the things that you're focused on, is, you know, things that are in your environment. So really like how to step above it. Well, create those action steps, follow follow people that inspire you. Everybody only has so much bandwidth and so much ability to take in information and then to act upon it. And I think when you're trying to do too much, you're not as focused, right? And that's why I like having, you know, 5 people you follow. And I've done this practice multiple times. I wrote down the 5 people that I'm inspired by, and they're probably going to change depending on where you're at. In fact, they probably should change depending on where you're at. If they don't change, then you might not be doing anything, right? I mean, so, you know, having 5 people that inspire you to do something, and not just take in information, not just analyze, and not just prepare, right? It's the act of doing. And granted, nothing is going to come out perfect all the time, and that's where it's going to take the action steps to work through it. That's why I'm glad this 7-day challenge just happened. I initially already made the choice to, I would say, come back, but like to start to do either live or and to drop the vlogs and all that stuff. And so part of dropping the vlog was to go live, to talk about what's coming, to talk about, I don't say what to expect because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. And that's why like I'm not showing much else than this first clip. But you can probably tell a lot from this first clip. I mean, first screenshot. Maybe you can't, but maybe I can, but who knows, who cares, right? Like I'm sure after this one comes out, there'll be some clips and maybe it'll inspire other people to watch it. But I'm really hoping that people are just interested in seeing something maybe different, hopefully being motivated in their own way. Because I feel like that is with social media being so short attention span category, it'd be neat to see who and what this, I mean, what resonates and who this resonates with. Because I've been always enjoying more long form content. I like film. I like documentaries. I like, even magazines. I like things that take a little more time. Like short form content is cool, but there's no depth to it. I do appreciate for what it is though. Don't get me wrong. In fact, that's how I find a lot of the music that I like. And that's one thing I like about social media is that um, it brings you into these different rabbit holes and pockets of things that you might not have come across. And that's why I like sharing artists that I don't want to say aren't big, but that are on the come up or haven't had as much exposure. One of the jobs I had, I used to work at Tower Records, Alamwana, and that was that was a great job. And the people that worked there, great, phenomenal. Worked there with the homie Roland. Roland, if you ever see this, I'm shouting you out. But yeah, even Mike, I'm gonna shout Mike out too. In fact, there's Craig, whole bunch of these cats at Tower Records, Trudy, um, Roy, Scott. I doubt any of you guys are gonna see this, but yeah, you guys get shouted out anyway. Tower Records was such a great job. I was there early 2000s, and because we'd close at like midnight, and the mall, all in one mall, would close at like 9, I think, or 10, or 9:30, 10. From like 10 to 12, it was like a party up in there. I feel like everybody just came to cruise at Alamana Tower Records. And because we weren't part of the mall, we were like across the street on the corner. Makaloa, if any of you guys know Korea Moku. But yeah, that was a spot. Um, I had two sections that I maintained. So it was like hip hop rap, which is one section, and soundtracks. So, having these sections, I had keys to the listening station because we used to have to change out the listening stations and put in music and all that, new music. Fortunately, right, having keys to the listening station, I could put up old music too. So I could put up, you know, I'll say whatever I wanted, but complementary music to whatever was being dropped. If there's a new release music and artist that has multiple albums, I was allowed to put up the old album too. So that was a really cool job. I also had the soundtrack section, which was a phenomenal section. If you ever get into a music store and you go into the soundtrack section, it's a whole nother world. Not just with scores from the movies, but like the music from the movies, right? And one of the ones I can think of that I really enjoyed, not just the movie but the soundtrack, Belly, a Hype Williams film. Nas, DMX. I mean, the opening scene with the lights. I mean, like, yeah, without getting too deep into it, that's definitely one of my top movies. And I definitely want to do another live with top movies. So we'll make it a point at some point in time. But yeah, going back to that conversation I had with the Texan, your voice matters. Everybody has their own perspective. And I think initially we think of the internet and going live or YouTube or Instagram or any of these different things as maybe something scary or some kind of monster or some kind of beast. Well, it is if you think it is. It can also be a tool. It can also be a way to communicate with people. It also can be a way to connect with somebody that you haven't seen for a long time, right? So just as much as it brings things that maybe you don't want to see, it can bring you things that were maybe never possible, right? So it's kind of like what you're focused on. And I think everybody has their own past trauma, their own, however they grew up, and that's what leads them to the current day, whatever they're doing, right? So everyone's working through whatever they're working through, maybe realizing how it affects them, maybe not. So, but through that conversation, the idea was, this person maybe thought they didn't have an audience or didn't have community or didn't, or have too much to say, but no one's there to listen. I think that's this practice right now of just putting it out because, yeah, you don't know who's this going to resonate with, but you also don't know if you don't put it out. So if you don't put it out, how will you ever know how will you ever know it will resonate or not with somebody, right? I mean, obviously, if you put it out and it doesn't resonate, you won't hear, right, from anything. But if it helps one person, even if you don't hear about it, and that's why there's a good chance that can help somebody because a lot of people, they don't step up to say, wow, that was good or that helped me, just like this whole, what is it? It's easier to complain about something than it is to appreciate and big up someone. And that's like the whole thing of what we need to turn around. I don't say what we need to, but what I choose to see and how I prefer to operate is to find the good. Sounds so cliche, but it is the energy that you bring into you and your surrounding, in your environment, your life, and that energy will affect others. So that's why it's important to understand your energy. So part of that conversation with, Texan was telling this person that, their voice matters, their perspective matters. And I think a lot of times we go through something that is rough and we think that maybe nobody else cares or nobody else wants to deal with it. But maybe if you share that, maybe you would give somebody insight so that they would have an easier time. And I don't think anyone's out here to have somebody else have a rougher time. I think in a way, if we can share those experiences, it might lighten it and make it easier on somebody. And if we do that, then we've brought value to our community and we made this place a better place. And then you actually have a chance to change things and impact things. Not that some people really care or not, right? Like some people they don't give it. Some people do. So I'll say offset the balance, but to maintain balance, we need to do what we think is right, regardless of what other people think. And that's why like the thing that you do right might be wrong to someone else. That's why we're in this infinite, what do you call it, loop maybe. But I do think coming on live and showing up is a mindset thing. I know that most people don't maybe want to be seen or they don't like their voice. I mean, I think we are kind of, and I was probably like that too, right? Focused on the wrong things or just not understanding the value in showing up, right? Not not like a TV broadcaster, not like Miss America, you know, not like what it is to be called perfect, right? Because there is no such thing as perfect. There's showing up and not judging, right? And just being there. So part of that is what I would call growth. And growth in a lot of ways is uncomfortable. And I think if we think about it that way and we want to experience growth because we know that going through something uncomfortable makes us better, then instead of shying away from uncomfortable situations, we actually step to them. Instead of running away when something gets hard, we step to it. And then when you get through it, you're like, wow, all right, that's what I need to do. All right, moving forward. Right. So part of that mindset for me was being comfortable, being uncomfortable. And I did a tour through the Midwest and I drove through several states with this mindset of, you know, I got to get something done and it might not be comfortable. And what a what a way to break free from some of the fears that you think you have by stepping into the fire and just saying, you know what, let's go. Because it's going to happen at some point. Instead of you prolonging it and waiting around for it to happen, you're going to make it happen. And I feel like that's the way that you, I don't want to say tackle your fears, but you face them and you don't let them eat you up. You don't let them get you. You don't let them bother you like they're supposed to, bother other people and hold you back, right? So, so yeah, I did a whole Midwest tour, drove through states, more than a few, handful of states. Um, Met up with a couple homies, which is great, and documented it. So I've, you know, I that's gonna be coming on one of these vlogs coming forward is documenting that trip and everything that happened. So that leads me to current, where we're at right now. So this is the probably like I want to say the 10th live maybe I've done. You know, we did the 7 day challenge. I slipped in a couple other lives here and there to get practice and just to test some buttons out and play with different features. But this is probably like the 10th live. And I probably don't expect anyone to show up on these lives until I get it scheduled regularly where people can have the opportunity to show up. So everyone's gonna probably just catching this after the fact, which is again totally cool too. I appreciate you for catching this. I know everyone's busy. Um, I know everyone got a lot to do, and you know, to be honest, I I don't expect anyone to, you know, this is kind of like I'll say early, but like it's just the beginning. There'll be a lot more like focused topics going live, but this is a live that I did. Put out the bat signal. I said hey, I'm going live at 10. You know, if anyone can jump on, cool. If not, cool. We'll you know we'll run it again. This is not the end of it all. This is actually just the beginning. So, you know, just to kind of get these practice ones in. And I was really hoping to get a comment so I can try to throw the comment up in screen, but you know what? We're gonna have to do that another time. So I'm gonna try to practice that another time, and maybe that's when we'll schedule this out a lot earlier so somebody can show up and we can practice putting these comments on screen, getting shout outs out, right? So, but before we get too long into it, I did want to, you know, just talk about this next week, Wednesday, 27th, midnight, um, episode one, why YouTube drops. It's only a 15-minute vlog, so it isn't that long. You know, I really enjoyed putting it together. And in fact, I even got the next one set up. So a week later, June 3rd, Wednesday, same thing, drops at midnight. And got the third vlog in there as well. So it's all uploaded. June 10th, I think, is the third vlog. So there's three vlog set up right now, and that means every Wednesday there's a drop, and I'll be working on the fourth one, which would be second week, third week of June maybe. But yeah, we'll probably have another live. We'll probably do a live. I'm thinking maybe maybe Sunday. We'll do a live on Sunday. We'll see if if I schedule it out to Sunday, maybe there's a good time and then I can get people to jump in. But yeah, I don't even know what's a good time. Uh, maybe Sunday 8, a little earlier. Anyway, if anybody has a idea, drop it in the comment or let me know, and maybe we'll try to do it on Sunday at a certain time. I'm thinking 8 is not too late or too early, but maybe that's fine. But yeah, so that means if we do go live on Sunday, we'll still be ahead of it's like 3 days, 2 days before the vlog drop. So, we'll be able to run through it again. Yeah. But all right, we won't keep this too long. I did want to switch a scene real quick. All right, so what is this one? We got host and screen share one. Go back to host real quick just to show the transition. It's supposed to be called live motion. I'm pretty sure I got it on live motion. So as I switch through scenes, it's supposed to be really smooth. Uh, that's live motion. That's live motion. Is the test, ending of the test with Ecamm, Sony ZV1 not hooked up, Sony FX30 hooked up, Rode mic hooked up, got it into the Rodecaster. So yeah, this is a test. You can, if you like these items, hopefully I'll have it in the link. If not, it's in the link in the other ones, and I'll just throw it on this one as I get this uploaded. But yeah, thank you guys for showing up, even if it's not on live. If you guys watch this later, I appreciate it. This is the 10th one, but yeah, this is the closest about the 10th live, and this is the one that I actually let people know about. The other lives I kind of just went live. And going forward, we'll probably schedule this out. So if you're on YouTube, check me out on Instagram. If you're on Instagram and you're watching this on YouTube, great. Appreciate it. Thanks for tapping in. We'll see you guys on the next one.